Hi everyone, my name is Kara Wenzel and I wanted to record my story for you to tell you why fitness is not the reason I am a Beachbody coach. My story starts a long time ago, over 9 years ago now. I'm the mother of 5 wonderful kids. My oldest is my bonus daughter who's 14, and then I have 4 boys who are 9, 6, 5, and 10 months. So as you can see, family is a really important part of my life. So really my story starts before my oldest son was born. My husband and I worked hard. At that time, my daughter was 2 when I came into her life. My husband has always been a blue-collar worker, a very hard-working blue-collar worker, and when we first started dating, I was in college, so didn't exactly have a high income. I switched colleges right before my senior year, and at that point we started to rack up debt. I took out student loans, and we used those student loans to live on. But it definitely wasn't the smartest decision in our life. And plus, with me having a little to no income and him working as hard as he could with blue-collar jobs, we weren't exactly rolling in the dough. So fast forward a little bit, and I am pregnant with our son. I am going to college at this time. My husband's working really hard to support us. And I have my son in March. And I still have to go to school. So I had this beautiful first little baby boy, and I got to spend 2 days at home with him before I had to go back to school because it wasn't an option for me. I didn't have maternity leave to take, and we couldn't afford for me to not finish school. At the time, I was going to school to be a teacher, and we knew that we needed me to have that job and to have that income, so I had to finish school. So this precious little baby boy went to some classes with me, and then I also had a friend that would care for him during the few classes that I couldn't take him to. So then as a result of switching colleges, when my husband and I really sat down and talked about our life and talked about the income that we needed, we realized I needed to go back to my original college and finish out my degree. So I had 2 semesters left. I had 1 semester of classes and 1 semester of student teaching, but my husband had a job that was 3 states away. And at that time, we felt like he couldn't give up that job. It was a good job. So I went back for my 1 semester of classes, and I lived with my mom with our baby, and it was really rough. I got to see my husband only once during that entire semester. And it was really hard, but we had to do it. We didn't really have a choice. And so right away, my son at 6 months of age, he's having to go to childcare. So then I do my student teaching. We're continuing to have to take out loans because I don't get paid to student teach, and my son had to be in childcare full time because I was working 40 hours a week. And then of course my husband was working way more than 40 hours a week. He was working whatever he could to get it done. So our debt is continuing to climb. At one point in our life during this time, I remember we were so poor that I was scrounging the couch and scrounging our change jar for enough food to buy groceries for my son. And then my husband and I were essentially eating whatever we could out of the pantry. And it was a really tough time. We could have qualified for assistance, but we had chosen at that point in our life to not go that route. So not that we thought there was anything wrong with that. We had just decided that's not what we wanted to do. So I finally graduate college, and I get a job, and we end up moving again because I got a really nice paying job and we couldn't afford to pass that up. So we move, my husband finds a job, we're making pretty good money at that point for what we feel like. We have a pretty high amount of student loans. So we still, we don't have a ton of income, but it's definitely better than what it was. So we start paying back student loans. At that point, my car dies, and we decide to take out a car loan. So as you can see, this kind of trend continued in our life. We definitely spent beyond what our income provided us because we continued to take out loans. I also decided to get my special education endorsement, and I got my master's degree. So I continued to take out student loans to pay for that. And then 3 years after my son was born, we had another son. And even though I had a really great paying job, I could only afford to go on maternity leave for 7 weeks. That's all the time I had saved up at work. And we couldn't afford for me not to have a paycheck. So it was definitely better than the 2 days I got with my first son, but I wanted to be home. I wanted to be home with my kids. So 7 weeks after my first son, I go back to work. And it was hard. It was really hard to not be at home. It was really hard to take him to childcare, but that's what we had to do. 22 months after I had my second son, we had our third son, and I got to stay home for, I think 9 or 10 weeks with him. So, I mean, it was getting better and better, but we were still, living paycheck to paycheck. So after my son was born, my third son was born, we found Dave Ramsey, and I really wanted to become debt-free. I felt like if we didn't have all these loans, if all of our great money, because we got better raises every year, my husband got a better job, he went into a specialized profession, so he was making a lot better money, but we still were living paycheck to paycheck, and there were still times we were having to bounce our bills around just to make sure everything was getting paid. We were putting things on credit card, we weren't saying no to things, and life was not as easy as it would seem based on our jobs. So 9 or 10 weeks after my son's born, take him back to work. I'm really feeling like I want to be a stay-at-home mom at this point. I also was a special education teacher, but I had to work year-round because I work in preschool special education, and just where I worked, we worked year-round. So I didn't get summer breaks with my kids, I didn't get winter breaks, and it was really tough. It was tough not to be there with them when I already felt like I should be. So we start plugging along, but honestly, my husband was not fully on board. He definitely felt like, yeah, we should pay things down, we shouldn't use credit cards, but he kind of thought we would always be in debt, especially with car loans. So fast forward 4 years through our life, we're slowly making progress, but then every 18 months or so, we would put something on a loan. Like we bought a camper, then we bought a Suburban. So we weren't really sticking to what Dave Ramsey preaches and what I believed in that we shouldn't have any loans. So then in 2013, we got this fantastic surprise that we were pregnant with another baby. And it was quite shocking. It was definitely not something we expected, but we are very happy for this blessing. And the only thing that I could think of when I found out we were pregnant is that I wanted to spend 12 weeks at home with this baby. I really, really wanted to be home with this baby, but I knew that wasn't an option. We didn't have the income from just my husband to cover our expenses every month. So luckily, one of the things Dave Ramsey preaches is if you ever have something big coming up in your life, like a pregnancy or a move, or there's a possibility you lose your job, that you stop paying on your debt snowball and you just start saving up your cash until you get through that time, and then you can just pay it all down on your debt if you need to. And I truly was very reluctant to do this because I figured at the end of 2013 I could have had 2 loans paid off. So I really didn't want to do that. I didn't want to push pause, but I decided to trust in the process, and I did that. And it is a miracle that I did, because then in January of 2014, I was very unexpectedly fired. And it was really, really tough because still to this day, I believe I was fired unjustly. And the only thing I could think of, I was 38 and a half weeks pregnant, and the only thing I could think of was I wasn't going to be able to stay home for 12 weeks. We were not going to be able to make it. I carried the insurance in our family, and I had, our income was about 50-50 at that point. So I was devastated. I was devastated that I was going to have this baby, that I might not be even be able to stay 6 weeks at home with him, and it was all I wanted to do was to get those 12 weeks of maternity leave. So I spent that first night after getting fired. I woke up at 2 in the morning and I figured out our budget and I figured out what I needed to bring home every month. And at that point in time, to cover our bills and to maintain our lifestyle, I needed to bring home about $2,400. If we really cut our lifestyle, I probably only needed to bring home between $1,500 and $1,800. So less than what my paycheck was, but definitely more than what I was making at that point, which was zero. So we had a week and a half later, we had this beautiful, healthy baby boy. And all I could think of was that I wanted to be at home with him. If I couldn't get a teaching job or I had breaks off with my kids, then I was going to do something else. I was going to be waitressing at night or doing something like that because I could not stand the thought of having him go to childcare again. So I post something on Facebook along the lines of, hey friends, if you have any great stay-at-home jobs, I'm willing to do anything. Shoot me an email or shoot me a message and let me know what you might have. And at that time, my coach, Ariel, reached out to me, and we were friends from high school. We knew each other from high school. And she reached out to me and said, hey, have you ever considered being a Beachbody coach? And I definitely had. I already had this great fitness plan in place for after I had my youngest son because I wanted to get in the best shape of my life. And I had used Beachbody products before. I knew they had worked, and so I was going to use them again, and I was going to get in this fantastic shape. So I also understood the concept of earning commission, and I was already into fitness, so I thought that it might be something that could work. But the only thing is it had to fit into our budget. So I asked Ariel the cost, and the cost for owning your own business in Beachbody is so low that I definitely thought it was something that I could swing. But I also wanted to be able to participate in the fitness programs because it was something that I needed and wanted to be in great shape. So I signed up, but my thought was I can only do this as long as it fits in the budget and I'm not paying anything extra. So right from the beginning, I knew it had to work. So I also started working out. I started drinking Shakeology. And then one of the other vital behaviors with Beachbody is personal development. And I decided I'm going to go ahead and dive right into this. I was still kind of in a bad place mentally. I was pretty hurt by the job loss. I started to kind of turn on myself and wonder what I could have done better. I kind of started berating myself. I never really got depressed, but I know I got close. And that's not what I needed to do with a brand new baby and with 4 other kids counting on me in our house. So I started personal development, and truly that is the best thing that I've gotten out of being a Beachbody coach. I was working in this toxic, competitive environment where everyone, it seemed like, was out for each other. I mean, you definitely had a few good friends, but you never know what could happen. Management was poor, and people were kind of left to themselves. So it wasn't a productive, happy place, that's for sure. And my attitude on life definitely reflected that. So I started reading personal development. I learned a lot of great things about myself. I learned great qualities that I had. And I changed my attitude around. I got back to that person that I wanted to be. And I stopped accepting things that weren't good enough for me anymore. So at this point in time, I'm starting to make some money from Beachbody. It's paying a few bills here or there, but the most important thing was that it covered my product cost. So I'm getting the physical exertion, I'm being able to drink Shakeology, and that was a lifesaver with a brand new baby. I was getting up 1 to 2 times a night. I'm caring for our other kids. I'm caring for our house. I'm trying to work this business, and Shakeology definitely gave me the energy and the nutrients that I needed, and it was something easy. I didn't even have to think about it. So that was awesome. And then the physical exertion was helping me mentally, plus it was getting me in great shape and giving me the energy to keep up with these kids. So my Beachbody business is growing. I'm starting to plug in. I'm starting to see these other leaders, and I'm realizing that this is a genuine business that you can make 6 figures off of, or even if you're not at 6 figures, you can make a healthy, regular income to live off of. And this is what I wanted to do. I want to be at home, but I still want to have that adult connection. I still want to help people. I want to be fit. I want to show my kids how to be fit and healthy, and Beachbody fit right into that. And really, Beachbody has given me my life back through personal development, and showing me what I'm worth and what I deserve. And it helped me realize that I'm never again going to be a person that's in a position where I cannot financially, physically, or mentally decide what I want to do because of restraints on someone else. So this job opportunity and business opportunity has put me in that position that I'm working towards. I'm happy to report too that this year my husband has gotten on board with being debt free. We've already paid off 2 huge loans this year. We have 4 left to go, 2 student loans and 2 vehicle loans. And our goal is to be debt free by December 2015. I'm really pushing, hopefully, to be able to replace my income within 6 months, so that if I don't want to renew my teaching contract next year, I have that option to if I just want to be at home. And I definitely will be at home at some point in the future with my kids, and Beachbody will be providing me the income to do that. So fitness is not the reason I became a Beachbody coach. Really, the mental health for me and improving myself was the reason I became a Beachbody coach. And the reason I continue to be a Beachbody coach is because I know I'm changing our family tree. I'm going to have the income to be able to stay at home. I'm going to have the income to be able to stay out of debt. And I have big dreams and big goals. I want to be in our dream home within a few years and pay it off in less than 7 years. I want my husband to be able to retire if he wants from his full-time job, because he works manual labor and outside, and he loves his job, but it's definitely hard on the body. I want to be able to travel 2 to 3 times a year with my kids and not just like drive 8 hours to see family. No, like I want to be going overseas. I want to take them around the US. Like I want them to experience the world. And I want to do all these things in cash and build up our savings, build up our income, build up our retirement fund, build up college savings for my kids so that they never have to get a student loan, no matter if they're going to be a doctor, lawyer, teacher, whatever that might be, however much schooling they need, we're going to be able to pay for it. And really, I just want to be in the position where I'm living my life by design. I work when I want. I work hard for my money for sure, but I'm able to make the amount of money that I deserve. And I'm able to do it from home. So this is why I'm a Beachbody coach, and this is why fitness is not the reason. If you have any questions, please feel free to send them to me. You can find me on Facebook at Kera, Kera Wenzel, Wenzel. I also have a like page, Kera Wenzel Free and Fit. Or you can email me. It's KERAWENZEL@hotmail.com. So just my name at hotmail.com. I really hope you enjoy this. I really hope if you found anything in this story inspiring or that connected with you, that you genuinely consider becoming a Beachbody coach, and I would love to talk to you about that. Or if nothing else, if you're in the same position and you just need to become physically and mentally fit, I would love to help you with that too. So please contact me. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you found my story inspiring. Thank you. Bye.